guys, what is going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to another episode of Hidden Combos. For you today, we do have an interesting, I don't know. It's definitely not one of my most competitive decks that I've shown here on the channel, but it is interesting for those of you who are willing to try out a Rakanoth deck. I would kind of put it like that. I mean, obviously by the title of this video, you can see it does have something to do with Rakanoth, and, I mean, not much use here, kind of, not showing you the deck list. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and just jump right into it and show you the deck list for Discount Rakanoth. So here is the list for what what I'm calling the Discount Rakanoth deck. Now, this deck's primary objective is simply early Rakanoths. Now, I know that Rakanoth has been a card that can pop up here and there, but there's no kind of solid deck list for him. Obviously, kind of works well in either yellow-red or green-red. More favorably green-red, though, I think. Generally because of maybe because of the ramp, but also because Pirates are just probably one of, if not the strongest faction currently at the moment. But I think this version of a Rakanoth deck is a bit more intriguing to play. I'm going to go ahead and show you. I mean, you can already see what's going on here, but obviously the biggest sort of, secret ability of this deck is going to be your Dragon Lord Rakanoth combination. Play the Dragon Lord turn 6 or whenever you have it, and then be able to follow up with a turn 7 Rakanoth, hopefully being, able to be summoned thanks to any one of the cards here, like Faithful Drake, the Unholy Altar can spawn zombies, Headless Horseman, Fire Drake, the Dragon Knight, Faithful Drake, or Keeper of the Doorways, Undead, combo units. Whatever is on the board, hopefully that can follow up into a Rakanoth. The only things that aren't going to really work are Kraxus, Lumberjack, and Hassan City Guards. Everything else in the deck in terms of units, well, and again, and Blacksmith. Everything else, though, in turn, should work with a Rakanoth aside from, again, maybe the Drymoth. But the Drymoth is something that I'm just kind of testing in here right now. I am working with Dragon Lore, so I figured why not throw in maybe at least a Drymoth. I had 2 originally, but I think people who helped me kind of look over this deck said 2 were too much. So I narrowed it down to just kind of 1 and seeing how he plays out. Because Drymoth is, of course, a scary beast to deal with, of course, the 9/12, and healing your castle for 7. Not as much as Arbiter's Return for 8, but still, it gets a 9/12 permanent body out in the field, heals 7 off the castle, and now your opponent has to deal with something that's got Deflect and Stalwart. So, why not? Why not give him a try? As for the other components of this deck, like I mentioned, a lot of it is based around being able to bring or summon the Rakanoth. Cards like Fire Drake, Horseman, Dragon Knight, the Faithful Drake, the Unholy Zombies, or the Altar, really. Keeper of the Doorways, combo units, the Horseman, I think I already mentioned. If I didn't, I just did. All those units kind of, either have the Dragon or Undead tag, which is necessary to summon Rakanoth. So, again, the ideal combination is playing one of these units turn 6, as well as a Dragon's Lore, and then following up with that turn 7 Rakanoth. Because Rakanoth's damage is big. Takes out pretty much every building, aside from maybe Throne and Temple. But those of, you don't see much anyway. Like I said, that huge burst damage is going to deal a lot if you can get an enemy into or if you can get your unit, into a right position for it. And now you could have another Rakanoth potentially in the next turn as well. Maybe not that next turn, but you guys know what I mean. Like, if you follow up with maybe another Dragon's Lore on turn 8, that's again a turn 9 Rakanoth, which is still, cheaper than a turn 10 Rakanoth. So, keep that in mind. As, for the rest of the deck, kind of straightforward standard stuff here. Mordock, Kraxus, well, Mordock really to help actually pair with, the whole undead, or more of the undead aspect, I would say. Again, just making sure you have enough undead units to bring out a Rakanoth. But again, the rest of it I think is pretty standard. Kraxus for draw, Arbiters for heal, Dragon's Fire, Blue Fire, and Defective Flame Cannon for burn, Lumber for draw, Hassan City Guard for good stuff, Blacksmith and Armory for your stat manipulation, and then I included Dragon Crest Shield here as well. Probably because if I want to keep some of these units alive longer for the Rakanoth, it's best to give them perhaps that extra armor, and while I'm at it, drawing cards is also going to be great for me. Ideally, you want to play this more, though, on your later units, i.e. Keeper of the Doorway. Maybe Fire Drake if you have the armory out with it. You know, not really much else. Or if you just kind of want to keep something alive and perhaps get the draw off of it, that's where you might use Dragon Crest Shield. But ideally, it's going to be Keeper of the Doorway or Fire Drake, you know, in the earlier to mid-game stages. But then obviously when you get into later game, you can play it on things like Krakus Mordok or even Rakanoth if you have one out, just to make it more lethal. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck list. Not again, it's a bit more of an expensive deck to play, obviously, with Arbiter, Cracks. I mean, basically, you know, Arbiter and on is, you know, 8 gold and up, so. And it does take, I think, about a quarter of the deck, maybe, if I'm doing my math. I might not be doing math correctly. I don't know. I'm mathed it out, so I don't even know if I did that math correctly. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the gameplay and show you guys what this deck is capable of. Alrighty, opening hand looks okay. I think I'm going to keep this, because I am, of course, working with the metal, so I can get out any of my 3 gold cards turn 2. So he opts to pass his turn 1. We'll do the same, because, you know, there can't really nothing we can do except Flame Cannon's Castle, but that'll be a waste. Lumberjack coming into our hand, we're going to throw that out. We could have coined out into the altar, but I think the Lumberjack is a bit more important for a bit of early draw and potentially damage, depending on what he does. We could also Blacksmith the next turn, so that'll be 2 on face. And we do realize that he's not running any heals, so we should be fine there. He throws out a Banshee to block. Again, beautiful trade here with the Blacksmith. We'll go ahead and hit him. We'll give him a free spell, though. He'll get, Rampage. That might be a little dangerous for us later on, but we'll see how this goes. I do have a Raka in hand, so that'll be one of the end goals we try to get to at this point. Alright, Shaman gets a little draw going for himself. That's fine. Totally fine there. I think I do coin out a keeper at this point, because I don't know if he's got the resources to deal with it. And at least we're getting 1 additional undead unit. We at least have to have 1, even if he decides to burn to weaken and then finish off with the shaman. Regardless, we should at least get 1 undead, which should be fine. And then maybe the following turn I can throw out my altar to start generating some zombies for us. Yeah, see, blue firebolt. That's fine. Wow, okay, so we actually just completely burned it. Interesting. We'll do that and see where we end up. I do have the Dragon Lore in hand, so that is a turn 7 Rakanoth we can successfully summon. But I think I need to play the Dragon's Lore next turn, so that way it, you know, comes out a little stronger. I could have played it now, but saving it I think will be just fine. Berserker comes out, alright. Yup, little tap there, little love tap. And then, do you have anything else to follow up? Given the Rampage to Berserker. Alright, well, just kind of opened up that target for us now, didn't you? Horseman, Castle, not exactly what we wanted. So, regardless, our Horseman's going to die anyway, so we're going to go ahead and do this. And then play the Dragon's Lore as well, so now Rakanoth is turn 7, so he does have the potential to come out next turn. I'll see where we're at, though. Because my zombie right now isn't in the best position to kind of just run up and create a Rakanoth bomb. He's dead now, actually. Okay. So that's a bit of an oof. That's all he's going to play, though. Alright, beautiful. Dragon's Knight. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit of this going. So either the zombie or the Drake can provide a Rakanoth sacrifice target, which will be fine. Banshee comes out. Okay. Plus a Furnace Knight. Alright, so a lot of big things coming in now. And I think he's partly holding back his forces. Maybe because of the... Oh, well, no. Never mind. There he goes. So, I'm going to end up moving my Drake, you know... Okay, yep. Up all the way. For a beautiful Rakanoth bomb here. He gets a Storm Strike, but he's not going to have a target to use it right now. I mean, it's going to be good for him, but at this point, it puts him in Arbiter's range, so... He can't castle heal, so unless he gets a random spell from Banshee, which is like a Sunburst or something, he is no longer in the game. Windfall Griffin's probably going to give him the Storm Strike as well, because it's going to chain to kill my Dragon Knight, which is fine. Again, this match is kind of already over. And with that, we'll take our first victory. We might do, I think we're going to do one more match, just to see how things go with the deck. So, we'll end the Arbiter off here. And overall, it was a good match for the deck. Our early game was a little rough, but I think we were able to counter it pretty well. I mean, not much else to say there. So I think with that, we'll just jump right into match number 2 and see what happens. Alright, match number 2. Hands looking good. Oh, rank 18. Huh. Well, that's a bit of an oof. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. He is running Crusader Druid, so heals are definitely an option. And companions. Companions are quite strong, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Alright, nothing turn 1 from either of us. That's fine. Gonna bring out the guards. We'll see if he can trade with other guards, I guess, because that's something he can do. Can you? Maybe. Ooh. Ooh, there's an Elvish Hunter. Knowing that this is probably going to be a companion deck, I'm going to just opt to get rid of that. I don't want to deal with discounted companions. And if I put this pressure on him, I'm going to force him to bring out maybe a Spiny or something, or a Centaur. I bring out a Lumberjack, alright, so he'll get some draw out of that. Still won't be able to play, well, okay, Salahar Rider as well. So, defended that very well. Does he have anything else to follow up with, though? Doesn't look like it. We're going to go ahead and place the Unholy Altar now that we have an opportunity to start generating a couple of zombies. This might be a target for him to go to with his companions. But again, that Hunter is now destroyed, so discounts are no longer an option for him. Let's say he has another one. But there's a Shaman. Interesting. Alrighty. So, I think with that, we can bring out a Keeper. Now, hopefully, unlike the last match, this shouldn't get instantly burned right away, because he's not running Warlocks for it. I could see a Spirit Link, though, from a Mana Core. That seems unlikely. Okay, so he's going to go right for the, what's it called? Altar Kill. Doesn't want me to generate any more zombies. That's fine. I'm going to throw out the Headless Horseman. Damages Castle. I kind of expected that, so we're going to go ahead and clear out all of this right now. Get a Wraith for our troubles as well from the Keeper. And that's fine, because we do have another altar to play as well. I'm not really concerned about that loss of the altar. And he had to waste a Centaur for that, so very good on our part. Does he have anything else, though? That's the question of the day. Banshee, alright. Oof, and a Courthouse. Alright, the Courthouse kinda concerns me. I don't really want to use a Dragon's Fire just yet. gonna go ahead and do this. It's alright. It's alright that we sacked that. This actually might go well for us. We'll bring out a Banshee as well. See if he's got anything else. So, Courthouse kind of brings out the idea that it's going to be a judgment-based deck, so he's not going to want to attack my units. He's going to want me to attack his. Wow. All right, Ranger. Interesting call, I guess. I'm still looking for a Rakanoth, or at least something along those lines. We haven't really seen any of those yet, or my buffs. Because Armory or Blacksmith would do wonders here. It would buff up these weaker undead units to be more formidable than they currently are. Especially paired with the Unholy Altar of generating, you know, more zombies. Because right now, if I were to kill that Ranger, I would have to trade at least everything on my board plus more. Or at least one other thing. Which kind of concerns me. Unless I do draw a Blacksmith or Armory, which I'm hoping to in the next turn. But we'll see what he does, because the Ranger is slightly formidable. I wouldn't say with Judgment, though, because again, he's wanting me to attack. It's not kind of, he won't really attack me unless he absolutely finds it's necessary, in which case that's kind of a win for me, because I've technically just weakened his unit without taking further damage. Does that kind of make sense? I kind of avoid that Judgment damage. Frost Strike, okay, that might have been from the Banshee, I think. Alright, so that's going to freeze my Wraith. And a Monk comes out. Interesting. Plus Questing Knight. So a lot of things coming out now on the board. That Monk's pushing all the way up, which is a mistake, I think. Yeah. So we could also just do... It might be a waste of Dragon's Fire now. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then maybe even further I can bolt this Ranger down. So it forces him to bring out a bit more, because that was a good amount that we killed there. We killed a Monk, a Questing Knight, and a Ranger. Our Wraith, I mean, we're kind of left with the same board we were just a minute ago, so interesting there. Bear comes out. Alright, here's where I really need a buff at this point. Inspire gets him a Berserker and a Hassan. Hassan's actually going to do wonders for keeping that. Oh, okay. Let's say he could also just trade the Hassan, because it won't hurt him as much. Okay, strange. We're gonna go ahead and do this. We'll see if he trades another companion to get rid of me. Or at least get rid of the altar, because again, I think that's his plan. I can't really touch that bear. That bear's going to actually go in for some block. Alright. It's going to get feared back, though. He has to remember that I do have a Winds card, though, thanks to a Banshee. So, if necessary, I can actually push all these out of the way to get to castle. There's a Blacksmith from him. Alright, so he gets a Blacksmith. I don't. Fair there. And a Judge. Alrighty. And guards. Alrighty. Okay. So I think I know what I gotta do here. Do a little bit of this. A little bit of this. These guys get knocked upwards. I wish I had the chain for that, but I don't. I'll get a Wraith for my troubles as well. I'll play a little bit of that. And then we'll do that. So the biggest threat, obviously, for him right now is that Keeper of the Doorway. It is going to sit there and continually generate me undead units unless he responds to it. But then again, if he does that, he's going to give me a total of at least 4 cards with what he's got on the board. Unless he's got something more powerful to take me out in one hit. A Ranger can clearly knock me out right now and only give me 2 cards. But I don't think he's got it. You see he's going to sacrifice or damage his Judge a little bit there. And the Bear, so 2 units, 2 draws. Headless Horseman's actually going to be beautiful. Sunburst, though, from him is going to be a nice way to kind of mitigate what just happened. So that's something I didn't want to see, but okay. And the Rangers. The Ranger was hiding in his hand. Curious. Alright. Let's go ahead and do a Headless here. Gets rid of that. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to trade a lot to get rid of this Ranger as well, but it will be to get rid of the Ranger, so that's what I'm kind of okay with. There's a Dremoth. Alright, so now we just need a Dragon's Lure for that. Then we'll bring out another Wraith with our, with how much we have. So at this point, we've pretty much secured a good place with matchup. A lot of his resources are currently gone. Sudden Death, though, will kick in soon, so we'll see how he responds to that. Bear getting close to the Wraith here. Injured Trent as well. And again, really need my blacksmith buff, or at least something along those lines to kind of come out here and help me. Yikes. Let's see what I can do, though, because double, oh, missionary as well. Alright, let's see what I can do. Alright, so we're definitely going to throw out the armory. Get a little bit of a buff going here. Dragon Knight as well. What happens if I attack you? Where do you fear to? Okay, beautiful. Again, I'm not concerned about damage or whatnot, because I do have the Arbiter's Return. So we're just going to throw out a couple of other units here to help us. We'll see what he does. He's got one injured Trent at 4-2. The Missionary was a nice play. I will give him that to kind of reverse the Trent damage. That was a bit nifty there. Divine Knowledge. Alright, so he's got a little bit more to work with. He can't really throw out a big unit, though, I think. Or at least going to cost him most of his gold. Questing Knight. Going to trade with our Wraith there, as you can see. And I assume Trent's going to have to trade with the Faithful Drake, right? Cleric. Uh-oh. Cleric might be a bit nasty to deal with. I would like my, alright. We can do that. Yeah, I think we can do this. He's not gonna get a bunch of burst damage on us. So this Mordok should be what we can close out with. Arbiter can get rid of the Cleric, no problem. Then we can put Mordok on face. Oh, dang. He actually just reclaimed us. Wonderful. Well, that's a no good. How do we get rid of that? I mean, I know what I'm doing the first time. Oh, trades with the Mordok. Uh-oh. Alright. We're gonna do this. Gotta get rid of that. Do that. Doesn't matter if you get a castle heal, to be honest. Ooh, risky. We can actually... Ooh. That's actually great for us, because we can actually... I'm going to put my zombies here to kind of form a perimeter to avoid any centaur damage. I don't think he drew a double companion. Even if it's not going to be able to kill us. Alright, so we can risky into a Dremoth. if we wanted to next turn, excuse me. And that should end the game. Because Rakanoth will give us a 7 heal. I mean, the only thing I probably want to concern my... Or maybe not. We don't have to play the Arbiter. We can play the Arbiter first to avoid losing it. And then play the Rakanoth the following turn. I think that might be the better plan. And you see he's going to kind of throw up some protection here. Running a lot of castle heal for his deck. Oh, we're even better. We can just do this. Doesn't matter that we lost the zombie. Keep pushing a bit forward here. There we go. Alright, that should end the game. 11-13. Don't know if he's got the, you know, ability to destroy me. Even if he plays an Arbiter, you know, you see he's going to keep actually reinforcing his castle. So a lot of castle here for this deck. But does that come with a cost of not having enough units to deal with this push? Minotaur comes out. Alright, that's fine. I think that ends the game, though. Yep. He can't really block with anything else, so that will be a game ender right there. Arbiter comes in, finishes out the castle, and we are done. Alright, so, very good matchup, I would say. We did have a bit of problems during that matchup, i.e. not getting our buffs out, but that was kind of due to the draw. It was really more of an unfortunate effect for us. And the judgment was a bit of a pain to get around, but we were able to successfully do it without really actually getting rid of the courthouse at all. Like, you know, we didn't really have an open opportunity to do so. So with that kind of in mind, I think the deck did perform very well. And with that, I think we can move right into the outro. With that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this episode of Hidden Combos, be sure to give it a like, share with your friends, of course, comment down below your thoughts on the Discount Rocket deck. It is a bit of an unusual deck and one that I don't recommend if you are, you know, looking for a more competitive-based deck. But if you are looking for something fun to do with dragons, more specifically probably with Raka, I highly recommend giving this deck out, or giving this deck a try out, if again you are looking for something new. So, with that being said, guys, if you haven't already done so, while you're leaving a comment, if you are, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Help show you support the channel and help us grow by clicking that subscribe button at no additional cost to you. So, with that being said, guys, that's all from me for now. So until next time, stay gaming.